This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Tim Serber.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Neighbors Podcast. Thank you, Charlie, for introducing us. And I'm your host, Tim Serber, as I said. And this is a show where we get down and talk with real people who are doing real things in Morgan County, Indiana. And we think it's really important to bring these people to everybody that we can, because we have some great businesses and people in this county. And my wife and I been here for a long time. We want to start bringing them out. So no longer I'll delay here. Today's guest spent 22 years serving our country in the U.S. military. When he came home, he didn't slow down for a minute. He launched a travel agency called Delightful Horizons, and we're going to go into that a little bit. But he didn't stop there. He built a marketing agency, and he's just come out with a brand new engraving business. So all right here in our community, people, the thing I love about doing these podcasts is just learning about people and what they do to make a living and how they do it. I think it is so interesting. And what I love about this guy is he used a phrase, and I was going through the questions, and it just stopped me cold. And you're going to hear it here in just a minute. And I think you'll catch it, and we'll talk about it. But first, let me introduce Ariel Martinez. And great to have you on the Good Neighbors Podcast.
It's good to be here.
We love to have you, and thanks for being here. And I've been looking forward to this one. So, Ariel, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Let's start right here at the beginning. Before the business, before Morgan County, just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are.
Well, I'm someone that's always valued like precision and peace of mind. My background, like you mentioned earlier, is in the military, so I'm a veteran, which taught me a lot about logistics, planning for and anticipating any problems and coming up with a plan, and the value of having like a flawless plan. Of course, no plan ever, is flawless, but you try to mitigate that and manage it the best that you can. But my heart's always been in like the human connection and experiencing the world like firsthand. I've done a lot of travel across many countries, most of them in the military. And I look forward to like traveling again and seeing those countries now that I'm not in the military as a civilian, so I can actually experience it a little bit better. I like those quiet moments, the moments where you just feel completely alive and connected to the people around you. So eventually I found a way to kind of blend those two sides. I love the behind the scenes execution, the appreciation for the beauty, and just feeling restored from the experiences.
Well, I tell you that, 22 years, that's not a chapter, man. I mean, that's a whole first book, right? And now you're getting ready and you're building a second one now. So, that kind of brings me to the next question. A lot of veterans come home and, take a breath, slow down, and rightfully so. I was never in the military. My son is, and my wife both have a truckload of respect for the military and the personnel and the work they do, all levels of it. So walk us through why and how did Delightful Horizons come to be? What sparked it?
It came from watching people come home exhausted after a vacation, and even during their vacation. Vacations are supposed to be a time where you relax and feel rejuvenated, but that wasn't happening. And I noticed that in the luxury travel space where I like to, work, we've been taught that you equate luxury with like a high price tag, a 5-star suite or first class ticket. But then I see the same people spending a fortune, still standing in the wrong line, stressing over delays, same thing that we all experience, or managing their itinerary from their phone while they're at dinner. I mean, who wants to be doing that in a vacation? So I realized that the most valuable commodity on any journey isn't like how much you spend or what you spend, but how little you have to think. And that's a precious commodity. So I started Delightful Horizons because I wanted to give people their time back. I wanted to be like a quiet architect in the background, so they can actually experience their vacation fully. and just be present.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into a phrase you like to use, and I just really reading it. I want the audience to hear about it because it says everything about the way I think you do business, and that brings me to the question. You use this phrase that I absolutely love: the currency of presence. Tell our listeners, what does that mean to you?
Essentially, like in the world of high-end travel, we've been taught to equate luxury with expense. But you can spend a fortune, still find yourself standing in the wrong line, scrambling when a storm delays your plans. Um, the price tag is high, but the trip still creates a bunch of friction points, pulling you out of that moment. So you're no longer enjoying your vacation. Um, True luxury removes that friction. When you're no longer managing the logistics, you're free to just be fully present in the environment and in your vacation. You can savor the conversation over dinner while enjoying a beautiful sunset, not trying to run your itinerary from your phone. At Delightful Horizons, we believe that presence is the only currency that matters. We measure our success in the moments of effortless travel.
Well, I tell you what, I wanted everybody to hear that because, I've worked with a lot of business people, and I love the way you put that, currency of present. I think that is extremely powerful. And I think the folks listening to this will really get a good feeling about that, right? Because when you understand and know what people are going to be facing, and you're looking at how to take care of that before it even happens. I think that says a lot and gives those people the non-stress. They're more relaxed to enjoy what they're spending their money on. So that to me says, hey, I care about you guys. I want you to really enjoy this trip, and how I'm going to make it different is I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that these issues and troubles stay away from you as much as we can. And I think that's
Right.
awesome. So when someone decides to travel with Delightful Horizons, what does that actually look like? Walk our listeners through the experience from beginning to end.
Think of it as, I like to explain it or describe it as like a really big exhale, like that relief's been lifted off your shoulder. So, if you ever had one of those, you just, and now your worries are gone. Uh, from the moment we start working together, our goal is to uh, hand you a book itinerary. We act like quiet architects of the entire journey. Um, we uh, we anticipate logistics. We choreograph everything from the private transfers and secure the exclusive access sometimes. Um, the experience is designed so that from the moment you leave your house to the moment you return, you're not responsible. Your only responsibility is for you to be present with the people that you're with. We handle the mechanics, and you just experience the world.
So you're basically like their personal travel director, and pay uh, just strict attention to detail. And did some of that
Hmm.
come from your military background?
It did. We got taught to plan ahead, plan for the unforeseeable. So I've carried that over into how I deal with my business and how I deal with my personal life.
That's awesome. And believe me, I can see the true value of that. And I understand you work closely with some high-end wedding planners here in the area. And that's a fascinating piece of business, right? Because that is just, I mean, they have, for a short period of time of the season, really, and they have big conventions and everything on this. And it's a huge opportunity, and it's a huge place. I think it's a good thing for a lot of young people getting married. But, how does that relationship work with you?
As we all know, for those of us that have gone through planning weddings, it could be one of the most stressful times in our lives, if not the most stressful time of our life, because we want everything to go perfect. So we love our wedding planners. They're the visionary architects of the wedding, the day itself, and they pour everything they have, their whole hearts into making that event flawless. Um, where we step in is we do the behind the scenes travel concierge. We extend their level of position to the client's entire travel experience, because nothing's worse than having a great wedding and then a lackluster honeymoon. We manage the complex puzzle, the whole VIP guest arrival, exclusive room bookings, and a great honeymoon itinerary. So by partnering with us, the planner gets to stay focused on the magic of the event of the wedding, knowing that we're orchestrating the legendary stress-free travel experience for their clients when they depart from the wedding. It makes the planner's experience shine even brighter.
Oh, so win-win-win for everybody.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And there are a lot of people can book a trip. So, there's opportunities and there's, I don't want to say opportunities, but there's choices out there. So what sets you apart? Why Delightful Horizons?
Mm-hmm. I think it's our obsession with invisible orchestration. You don't see what we deal with. You never see the friction points. You just get to enjoy, the moment of the vacation. In my background, my team and I are wired to anticipate, variables like I mentioned earlier, and build in those contingencies. But the client never gets to see the machinery. What sets us apart is that we absorb all the friction of the travel. If a sudden storm delays your flight, we already rerouted. Anything else that might come up with a cancellation in the bookings or room getting double booked, you don't have to stop and deal with that while you're trying to make your travel plans. We deliver the feeling of effortless travel, and that's the whole point, effortless. You're just there to enjoy it. When you travel with us, the world just seems to unfold in front of you like they've been waiting for you to arrive.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been on plenty of trips where you're running by an itinerary and it runs you and you don't get to really enjoy why you went on this trip.
Exactly.
And I think that's really important. And I know a lot of people would love that experience, but maybe just don't realize there's somebody out there like you that will do that. So, and I would say it's because of this, but what are some misconceptions people have about the travel industry that you wish folks would understand before they assume they don't need someone like you?
I think one of the biggest ones is that travel advisors are just like a transactional booking engine. Someone you call just to get a hotel room. The internet can book you a room, but the internet can't seamlessly harmonize a 2-week journey through Italy. So you never once have to look at your watch. The other misconception is that expensive equals luxury. As we discussed earlier, you can throw a bunch of money at a trip, but it still has friction points. True luxury is the complete absence of logistical friction. I think one of the other misconceptions is that they're paying for my service, which is not true. We get paid by the vendors that we're booking through. So the cost is already added into the final cost of your bookings, because we're getting paid by the vendors, not by you. We're just taking all the friction out of the picture. Now you're not surfing the internet to try to buy not just the best deals, but luxurious deals.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest misconception people have. They don't realize it doesn't really cost them more in a sense to use you. But they get a level of experience at 10 times what they could probably do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is just awesome. So, 22 years of military services, 3 businesses, everything you built here in Morgan County, what are you most proud of?
But I really, really enjoy getting the stories back from our clients when they return. It's never about the thread counts of the sheets. It's when the husband tells me, like, I actually got to sit down and talk with my wife for the first time in months because I wasn't worried about the schedule.
Yeah.
Your conversation is not, well, we have to be here at a certain time, or the next thing on our itinerary is this, that, and the other. It's like you sit down and actually have essentially a date. You get to catch up and feel refreshed. Um, or when the wedding planner tells us that we made them look like a freaking hero to their clients because
Right.
everything was seamless. The bride, especially the bride, was happy with everything. You know,
Right. Right.
um, Knowing we're creating a space for people to like fully put themselves into the moment, connect with their loved ones, um, return home feeling completely restored. That's something that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, and not only the bride, but the bride's mom, right?
Right.
You got to be happy too. Wow. Well, I always love this question because it really lets people get to know you even more. You got three businesses that that takes time to work and everything. But what do you like to do when you're not doing that? What do you like to do to have fun?
I like to practice what I preach. I
Yeah,
just recently came back from a trip to the Bahamas.
nice.
Decided to treat myself to a mini vacation, and I'm glad I did. It gives me a firsthand experience of the places that people are wanting to book and wanting to explore, and I can give them better details about what it was like for me personally,
Right.
and what I can offer. Um, it brings that restorative spot to my life as well. Um, I like finding those hidden treasures, those hidden gems, the restaurants that are off the path, um, local venues here in my own town and in the city, the outdoor places, just to recharge and enjoy a slow, unhurried morning with a good cup of coffee. I'm
Yeah.
just always looking for those little pockets of everyday life.
Well, I tell you, I have really enjoyed getting to know you in this time, and love the things that you say, and how really having somebody like you doesn't cost me more, is going to
Hmm.
make my trip far more relaxing, far more enjoyable, and maybe when I come back from the trip, if I use you, uh, I'm going to be relaxed and more charged instead of kind of maybe ran down. So I think a lot of people have a misconception of travel agents, and I'm really glad that you were able to join us and we could talk about it. So it's really important. I know there's people out there that's ready for a trip, or people out there been putting one off. How do they find you?
The best place to start is our website. It's delightfulhorizons.com. In it, also, like at the bottom, it has a way to contact us directly, and it has links to all our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you're listening to this and you feel like the craving to unplug, reclaim your time, uh, let's carry on with that momentum. Let's set up a getaway, reach out. We'd love to have a conversation and see how we can curate something that is truly restorative to you.
And I think that is just awesome. And I tell you what, um, I know that my wife and I are making some list of places we want to go here in the next year, and I'm definitely going to give you a call because I'd like to experience that, especially not knowing, like we'd like to go to Israel or something like that, not knowing the
Mhm.
area, so it's not like I know how to really plan that. But it would be nice to talk to somebody that does that. So one more time, give them that website to check on, and then we'll end the show.
The website is delightfulhorizons.com.
And is there a phone number that they can call, or just do it through the website?
All our contact information is on the website.
Nice. All right.
And
Well,
we tend to respond pretty quickly.
all right. Well, everybody, I hope that you will give Ariel here a chance in Delightful Horizons. I think that's a cool name. At least gives you an idea that you're going to enjoy this. And, with his military background, I think that's a big advantage when it comes to organization and kind of expecting the possible issues you might run into and having solutions for them already in place. That should put your mind at ease right there. So, Ariel, thank you for joining us. I truly enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you grow.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmorgancounty.com. That's gnpmorgancounty.com or call 317-743-2058.